Good morning, everyone. Here we are on Monday morning again, so time for some Pilates. I had a great email from Diane West, and she was talking about the benefits of laughter. So the prescription for laughter is at least 10 minutes a day. So make sure that you incorporate that into either your workout. Hopefully you're not going to laugh at me, though. So that was great. And another thing that Di asked about was with the jumping for osteoporosis, how long one should be jumping for, which was another good question. And the answer to that is between 50 to 100 jumps. So basically you can count your jumps or probably a minute or two. So isn't that amazing? 2 minutes for a squat, 2 minutes for a hover, and 2 minutes jumping. There we go. We're getting our 2 minutes happening. So, well, that might happen today. All right, let's get started. Standing spine roll. But just remember, if you do have any injuries, please make sure that you do follow the sore back variations or any variations that you need to do. So let's get started. So standing spine roll is your flexibility test. We'll do it at the beginning and again at the end. So notice if you do reach any further by the end of the class. So deep breath in, grow taller. Breathing out, chin to chest, peel your spine off that imaginary wall. Notice how far down you are reaching. Beeline, use the abdominals to support your spine and curl to the upright. And again, deep breath in, grow taller, breathing out, chin to chest, and roll it down. Notice how far down you are reaching. Beeline from halfway up, tuck with the pelvis, squeeze the core to bring yourself to the upright. And one more, breathe in, grow taller, breathing out, get as much movement through the vertebra as you can. Notice how far you are reaching. Beeline, use the abdominals to support your spine and uncurl to the upright. We'll do a pec stretch. So just remembering to keep that forearm upright and elbow a little higher than the torso. So try to not be like that. Keep your wrist above your elbow. So elbow a little bit higher than your shoulder, back behind your torso, feet to the center of the room, leaning forwards into your stretch. Maintaining a pelvic tilt and keep looking straight ahead. Nice deep breaths, get the breath to the base of the lungs. Turn the feet towards the wall, easing the arm off and over onto the other side. Check that your forearm is upright, feet towards the center and leaning into that stretch, trying to get that stretch through into the front of your chest. Throughout the class, make sure that you are concentrating on those nice deep breaths, getting the breath to the base of the lungs. Turn the feet towards the wall, easing that arm off, and we're going to attempt our 2-minute squat. So it is like the 2-minute hover in that if your knees are hurting or your back is hurting or something is hurting, come up, just reset yourself, join in again when you are ready. But if the squat is not going to be suitable for your knees today, feel free to sit in your chair. And do some knee straightening. Sit well back, supported in your chair, straighten the leg, lock that knee out completely straight, hold for about the count of 3, and then down. Oh, that's just as well I've got clean feet. All right. So you can hold on to your hand weights. Make sure that you find yourself a patch of wall where you're not going to be slipping. So I've decided to move my mat to the side because I had that problem. And just check your positioning first. You want to check that as you take yourself down, your knee is more or less over your ankle. And you try to get your hips at knee height. But if you feel pain in the knees, you may need to not go down quite so deep. So just play around with that. Kneecaps are in line with your second toe. Let's find that second hand. Take it down and hold it there. All right. So pushing up to the ceiling. So first of all, in that position, squeeze in from the inner thighs. You've got a pelvic tilt, but your tailbone is resting on the wall. Breathe out to lift, breathe in to lower. Squeeze your core, keep squeezing in from your inner thighs, but don't allow those knees to roll in. Keep them aligned. All right, and biceps bending and straight and keeping your shoulder blades pressed into the wall. Nice strong center, squeeze your core, keep squeezing in from your inner thighs. All right, you are nearly at 1 minute. And that is 1 minute. Let's do some open and close. Keep the hands at shoulder height. Keep looking directly forwards. Remember to squeeze your core and squeeze in from your inner thighs. No hunching with your shoulders. Hopefully you can feel the heat starting to build in those legs. And let's push up to the ceiling again. That's 1.5 minutes. You're on your home run. Breathe out to raise, in to lower. And let's go back to biceps. Now strong center, squeezing in from your inner thighs. And that is your 2 minutes. Well done. We'll bring it down to the floor to stretch. All right, a big lunge forwards. So hip flexor stretch. Big lunge forwards with your right foot, pressing your hip towards the floor. And you can tuck those toes for a firmer stretch. Leaning slightly to the left-hand side, feeling that stretch at the front of that left hip. Make sure that your shoulder blades are in pocket, your neck is in line with the rest of the spine. You've got soft elbows. And changing sides. You lifted the knee up on the other side, same thing on this side. Lean slightly to the right-hand side and press that hip towards the floor, tuck with the pelvis. You have got that knee lifted, push through that back heel. Easing out of that and kneeling. Now if your knees are sore and this one's not suitable, then come out of it. Otherwise you can keep a bit of pressure on the hands or put a cushion underneath the buttocks. Otherwise sitting upright and for more of a challenge, leaning back within your limits of discomfort. Pressing your knees to the floor and tucking with the pelvis. Nice deep breaths. Always consciously relax your stretch muscle. Breathe through the stretch. When you come up symmetrically, hand in the center, squeeze the core and straight up. Just bring that camera in a little closer for your thigh stretch. Okay, actually we'll do a hamstring stretch. So you can use your bands. Remember, if you do have a sore neck, now's a good time to pop your cushion behind your head. Roll that top behind the head. So band wide around the forefoot of your right foot. Make sure that your foot is straight. So pressing up with the heel, down with the hip, bend the elbows, knee towards your shoulder. Pull your forefoot down so that stretch comes through into your calf as well. And change your legs. Land wide around your forefoot. Make sure that your knee is in line with your shoulder. Your foot is straight and your foot is flat. So if you're balancing a book on top of your foot, pressing up with the heel, press your hip into the floor and bend your elbows, pull the knee towards your shoulder. Pulling your forefoot down. Breathe through the stretch. So always comparing left and right side and making sure you're feeling the stretch in the right place. Easing out of that, your buttock stretch. Right foot on the left knee, hold behind your left thigh or in front of that left knee, hugging the thigh to the chest. Hug that thigh in close, then relax your tailbone back towards the floor. And changing sides, holding behind your right thigh or in front of that right knee, hugging the thigh to the chest. Hug that thigh in, hold the position, then relaxing the tailbone back down. And easing out of the stretch. I'll give you two different kind of stretches. Just going to move that a little bit. Okay, so you can be over onto your stomach. So heel to the buttock, squeezing the buttocks, pressing your hips down flat. Or you can do your usual one on the side. Bottom leg forwards, tuck with the pelvis, pulling back and behind. Or you've got a third alternative today. But this is a more advanced one, so not to be done if you've got a sore knee. Or so it's a more advanced one. So a big step forwards, hold on to that back foot. So heel to the buttock, resting on that, and tuck with the pelvis. And lean into that stretch as you would for a lunge. So feeling that fan stretch, whichever stretch you are doing, making sure that you're tucking with the pelvis and trying to get that full range of movement, heel touching the buttock. Changing sides. And you're aiming for that 9 out of 10 of stretch into your thigh. So leaning forwards, make sure that you're not too upright. You are leaning forward so that you have a straight line from the crown of the head down towards that back knee. And that you're not right on top of your kneecap, you're forwards of that kneecap on the leg that you are stretching. Tuck with the pelvis, press that hip towards the floor. So remember that 9 out of 10 of stretch into your thigh that you're stretching. And ease out of that. All right, I was doing about 2 minutes before. So now for the next 2 minutes, go hover. So remember the purpose is to work those abdominals. It's all in the position of the pelvis. Make sure that you're maintaining your pelvic tilt. Don't let your back muscles take over. And so that 2 minutes may consist of going onto your knees, up onto the toes, back down again. So play around with that. Make sure that you are feeling it in those correct muscles. And don't hold your breath. Let the breathing flow. Elbows in underneath your shoulders. Please start in this position. You check your hips are shoulder height. Tuck your toes, lift it, and hold it. At the end of this, you can tell me which was longer, the 2 minute hover or the 2 minute squat. Ongoing debate. Tuck under with the tailbone. Pinching the buttocks will give you more stability. Keep your palms facing up. No hunching with your shoulders. Now, if you do want a little bit more of a challenge, keep your hips exactly where they are. Maintain your tuck with your pelvis, but lightly tap one knee onto the floor at a time. Neck is in line with the rest of the spine, looking down between your hands. Keep that deep breathing flowing. Breathe in for a count of 4. Slow breath out for 6. Breathe all the air out, squeeze the core as well as engaging through the pelvic floor. That's already a minute. Make sure that you are concentrating on that engaging through the pelvic floor. Even if it means that you need to stop and not move the legs for a moment, make sure that you are doing that. Keep breathing deep and slow, just don't hold your breath. Make sure that you are maintaining your pelvic tilt. You're on the home run. You have your last 30 seconds. Keep your hips up at shoulder height. No letting those hips drop down. Make sure you are still maintaining that tuck under with the tailbone. Pinching the buttocks are going to give you more stability. Release it gently and back into rest position. So feet together, knees out wide, and sink your chest down low, flatten your spine. Remember, if your back is sore, lying on your back and hugging your knees to the chest is the rest position, lying on the back. And easing out of that, and we'll roll over onto our backs and do side to side. Side to side is one of my favorite ones. We don't often get that full rotation, so it is a good pain relieving one, and you are strengthening through those obliques, but it is a gentle exercise. So arms out shoulder level, palms are facing up, feet together, knees together. Make sure your arms aren't up there, just shoulder height, and your shoulder is pressed into the floor. Relax the knees to the side, turn to look towards your opposite hand. Push through with the hips as much as your lower back will allow you to. Squeeze your inner thighs, use those abdominals to bring the legs back up again. Keep turning to look towards the fingers of your opposite hand. Breathing out to lower and a deep breath in to lift. Pushing through with your hips and back up to the center. You can either continue with that, otherwise knees in line with the belly button, feet lifted higher than the knees. Take the legs halfway to make it easier, or as low to the floor as you can. Your opposite shoulder remains flat on the floor. Do it in time with your breathing, breathing out to lower and a deep breath in to raise. Check the knees are in line with the belly button, calves, the feet a little higher than the knees when you return to the center. Want to work a little harder, bring the arms in close into your pendulum. Toes locked together, big toes locked together, flex your feet. Lower the legs as low to the side as you can, where that opposite shoulder remains flat. Squeeze core and inner thighs to it. Legs going directly to the side. Make sure you're not dropping them down there, just directly to the side. Even if you're not going down low, it's directly to the side. So whichever one you are doing, squeeze core and inner thighs and pelvic floor to lift. Keep turning to look to the fingers of your opposite hand. Keep your shoulders down flat. Breathing out to lower and a deep breath in to lift. And one more. Back up to the center, just briefly hugging those knees in. Relax the feet to the floor. Now you'll stretch. We're going to, so your easiest stretch is knees vertically stacked, dropping them to the right-hand side. If you like a firmer stretch, cross your left knee over your right, and then take those knees to the right-hand side, getting those knees nice and close in to your armpit. And keep that left shoulder blade pressed into the floor as much as possible. So nice deep breaths, relaxing into your twist. Make sure that you beeline through it. Keep your lower back supported. Now just squeeze the core, uncross your legs, and slowly walk back up to the center. To the other side, so right leg over the left, and now your knees get dropped to the left-hand side, and you try and keep that right shoulder as flat as possible. Get the knees nice and close in towards your armpit. Make sure that you are beelining, support your back. Uncross the legs, squeeze the core back up to the center, and just give those knees a rock in. It is a firm stretch on your lower back. The knees a circle, reversing. Okay. We're going to do the single leg stretch. It's like a piston action with the legs. So you keep going out towards that same point. So it is not a bicycle movement. So just watch yourself on this one. First of all, a little bit of coordination. My mat, Janine is scooting all over the place again. So keep equal pressure throughout the buttocks. Now if your neck is sore, keep your head resting down on your cushion. So if it is your right leg, right hand on the ankle, other hand on the knee. When it is your left leg, it's left hand on the ankle, other hand on the knee. So it's always the outer hand on the ankle. But if that coordination is getting you, just pop both hands on the knees. You try and get the knee towards the armpit. So as opposed to coming across, it's drawn straight in. So the leg you are extending to make it easier. The leg is at 45-degree angle, and each time you'll push out to that same 45-degree angle. So you're not going to push it out and lower it. That's not what you're doing. It's a piston action, otherwise you keep it low to the floor. So doing it with me, keep your head resting down. Breathe out to extend, your foot is flexed and turned out. Breathe in to bend. So it's percussion breathing. Tuck the chin in, look towards the leg that you are straightening. Beeline, squeeze ribs to hips. Get that bent knee close in to your armpit so that you're loosening up through those hip joints. Bend your elbows to draw that knee in, no punching with your shoulders. Now keep your arms at your side and use your abdominals to draw that bent knee in towards your armpit. Keep pushing out towards that same point. You've got a sore back, that leg is up at a more 45-degree angle. Get that bent knee in close. And hug the knees to the chest. Just squeezing the knees in. And we're going to, now if you do want more of a challenge, you can pop your leg weights on. And we're going to do single leg circles. So we're working from the inner thigh, but also stabilizing using the abdominals. Once again, you can have that cushion in underneath your head. Lengthen out into your lower back. And make sure that you maintain your natural curve. You're not tucking with the pelvis. Left thumb underneath the left buttock and left knee at a 90. And your starting point is with your legs level. The right leg is locked out straight with the knee and your foot is flexed and turned out. Equal pressure throughout the buttock. So look, check that your hip bones are level and that you're not leaning off to one side. Press the fingers of the right hand into the inner thigh. Now drawing a capital D on your front wall. Breathing out to lower and a deep breath in to raise. Keep your chin tucked in. Now the fatter, the wider you take the fatter, the capital D, the wider you swing that leg out to the side, the more challenging the exercise. You aim to do as large a capital D as you can, keeping those knees level. Do it below the level of the bent knee, where you can keep your pelvis stable. Keep that right knee locked out, completely straight. Work from your hip joint. One more. Now reverse. Just check you're still square and stable. Swing that leg out to the side, back up, just level with the bent knee. Don't bring that leg up high, so you're not up there. Keep it down low to keep the exercise effective. Much harder when that leg is lower to the ground. Keep your chin tucked in, shoulder blades pressed into the floor, beelining to keep your pelvis stable. Keep the bent knee still, keep the strong turn out on that right foot. And change legs. So right knee to 90, just check your pelvis. Start with your knees level. Right thumb underneath the buttocks so that you can see if you're lifting up through that buttock. So pressing the fingers into the inner thigh connects that muscle or makes that muscle aware that it has to work. So the inner thigh is the lazy muscle in this exercise. So you're trying to get it activated. Breathing out to lower and a deep breath in to raise. Beelining, nice sideways movement of the rib cage as you breathe and not up and down movement of those tummy muscles. One more, reverse your capital D. Keep the bent knees still. Make sure that you are beelining throughout. That's where you're getting that stability of the pelvis by using those abdominals. Keep your left knee locked out, completely straight. Keep the foot turned out so that you're targeting your inner thigh. One more. And hug the knees in close. Squeeze your knees to your chest. We're going to do the double leg stretch, which you can keep your leg weights on, but if you do have a sore back, taking them off. And you can also hold some weights in your hands if you do have lucky enough to have 2 pairs of weights. All right. So your double leg stretch. So now's the time. If you've got a sore neck, you can pop that cushion in underneath your head. And make sure that you've lengthened into your lower back. You are maintaining your pelvic tilt so that your lower back stays imprinted. Keep pulling the tummy in, never brace by pushing out. So your basic is, sore backs, and if you haven't done the class for a while, feet above the buttocks, legs are up more vertically, head lifted or head down, 2 large circles with the arms, and then knees to the chest. Your added variation, so now if you want to challenge, your legs are lowered, toes together, heels apart, feet off legs. Once again, 2 circles, but for an added variation, 1 circle, arms and legs vertically, lower the legs to where your back is imprinted, raise them, finish the circle, knees to the chest. Now with those leg weights on, you aren't going to be able to lower those legs as much as you usually do. So be very vigilant that you're feeling the tummy and not your lower back, otherwise take those leg weights off. So 2 of the 2 circles, then you can choose your added variation. So make sure that you have lengthened into your back. Lifting head and shoulders, extending the legs. So your basic, backs of the hands together, keep the head still as you circle, backs of the hands together, and brush past your ears. 2 circles, knees to the chest. Another one at the basic, lifting head and shoulders, extending the legs. Nice big circles, keeping your head absolutely still, so don't lose that contraction, and knees to the chest. So feel free to continue with that. I'll talk you through your added variation. Lifting head and shoulders, extending the legs. So now I've got my toes together, heels apart, legs lowered to where your back is still imprinted. Backs of the hands together, brush past the ears, arms and legs up vertically, beeline strongly so your lower back stays imprinted. Squeeze point inner thighs to lift, beeline to finish your circle, and knees to the chest. Lifting head and shoulders, extending the legs. Backs of the hands together, brush past the ears. Arms and legs up vertically, looking towards the legs as you lower them. Squeeze point inner thighs to lift, beeline to finish, and knees to the chest. Try to incorporate the pelvic floor with the beeline. Lifting head and shoulders and extending the legs. Nice big circle, arms and legs are up vertically. Breathing out to lower, deep breath in to raise. Beeline to finish your circle, knees to the chest. Lifting head and shoulders, extending your legs. Beeline, flatten those abdominals, 1 circle, arms and legs vertically. Breathing out to lower, deep breath in to raise. Beeline to finish, and knees to your chest. Lifting head and shoulders, extending the legs. Keep your head still, eyes are on the knees, arms and legs up vertically. Look towards the legs as you lower them. Squeeze point inner thighs to lift. Beeline to finish. Knees to your chest. You nearly there. Lifting head and shoulders, extending the legs. Nice big circle. Arms and legs up vertically. Breathing out to lower. Deep breath in to raise. Beeline to finish. Knees to the chest. You have 1 more. Lifting head and shoulders, extending the legs. Big circle, arms and legs vertically. Breathing out to lower, deep breath in to raise, beeline to finish, and hug your knees in close. Squeeze your thighs to your chest. Give those knees a circle. Reverse your circle. And sitting up. We will do a few more leg exercises using the leg weights. So I'm going to do a few of them on all fours, but if I will give other variations as well. So if you have a sore wrist, it's not suitable for you. I'll give you a different one. But your first one with those leg weights on is going to be your fire hydrant, where we concentrate on squeezing through the buttocks. So if you have got a sore wrist or a sore back and that one is not suitable, lying on the floor and doing your plan. Now keep your hips vertically stacked. Don't lift the leg and roll over backwards. So you will only probably be able to lift that leg to about a 45-degree angle, but make sure that you hold it there a moment and that you squeeze your buttocks and squeeze your core, so hips vertically stacked throughout. All right, if you are on all fours, wrist in underneath the shoulder, spread your fingers wide and soft elbows. Don't let your head drop, neck in line with the rest of the spine. Flex your foot. Your calf is parallel to the floor. Squeeze the buttocks, hold, and then down. Keep on the same leg. Don't keep swapping legs. Squeeze through the buttocks. Breathing out to lift, squeeze the buttocks. Breathe in to lower. Elbows are soft. You are squeezing your core. Lift, hold it there a moment. Check your calf is parallel to the floor. Now hunching with your shoulders are pressed away from your ears, neck in line with the rest of the spine, squeezing the buttocks, squeezing your core. Breathing out to lift, breathing in to lower. So knee is in line with the hip and that calf is parallel to the floor. You will also notice the leg that's resting on the floor is working quite hard to stabilize. You've got one more. And then we swap sides. You may need to just give your wrists a little rest in between and other side. Spread your fingers wide and press your fingertips into the floor. Breathe out to lift, breathing in to lower. Squeeze through the buttocks. Make sure that you are squeezing your core, that corset around your center. So you can check to see where that leg is, but then pop your head in the correct position, which is looking down between your hands. Squeezing through those buttocks. No hunching with the shoulders, keep soft elbows, make sure you are squeezing the buttocks. You've got one more. Release it down and just give those wrists a shake. Okay, we're going to work the inner thigh once more. So you've just got two different options here. So your easier option, whole body in a straight line, your bottom leg flopped forwards, the top leg flopped forwards, the bottom leg is in a straight line with the body, support yourself with the hand in the front, flex that foot, so the leg that you're resting on, and lift up. Make sure that your foot stays parallel to the floor, so that you're not turning like that, so that you work from your inner thigh as you lift that leg up. Okay. For more of a challenge, you're going to lift both legs. So your legs are going to be vertically stacked. You can keep those leg weights on or take them off. Now make sure that you align. You're going to be working from the inner thigh of that bottom leg, but you're also going to be working your oblique abdominals. So the legs come forwards. Lying on the outer edge of your mat, legs come forwards from your mat, and you are tucking with your pelvis. Hand on the far edge of the mat, and you will lift both legs up off the floor. The emphasis is on your waist and the inner thigh of that bottom leg. Doing it with me. So remember your option of that leg flopped forward. If that leg is flopped forwards, then the bottom leg is in a straight line with the rest of the body. If you're doing both legs, those legs are forwards from your mat. Doing it with me. It's a blast breath out as you lift. Keep your knees rock straight, keep your feet glued together. Last breath out. Try and maintain a space between your waist and the floor, and a blast breath out as you lift. I want to hear you breathing. Keep your hips vertically stacked. Good breathing, Maureen. Deb, are you sure you're breathing? Can't hear you. Squeeze your core, that corset around your center. Think of lifting from the inner thigh of the bottom leg. Lift it up and hold it there. Fist into your waist, holding, and relax. You can notice the difference with the weights on with that one. And over onto the other side. So, lying on the outer edge of your mat, hold upper body in a straight line, make sure that your palm is facing up, legs are forwards from your torso, hand on the far edge of your mat. Keep your hips vertically stacked, maintain that space between your waist and the floor. That last breath out to lift. Keep squeezing your core, drawing those abdominals in. Never brace by pushing them out, and concentrate on the inner thigh that bottom leg. Last breath out to lift. Lift it and hold it and fist into your waist. Holding, 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 and relax. Well done. Okay. We'll sit up and just do a couple of stretches. You can take the leg weights off, or you can keep them on. You can keep them on for back strengthening if you like. Sitting cross-legged, you'll twist for your upper back, hand on your knee and twist your shoulders square onto the side wall. Grow taller and relax into that twist on your breakout. And across to the other side. Use the hand on the knee to help pull yourself around. And easing out of that. And we'll take the legs wide, big toes to the ceiling, and hinging forwards. You can sit on a cushion or sit on a towel. You're trying to tip forwards from your pelvis. So stretching through the inner thighs, just relax into it, don't force it. Flex your feet strongly, keep your knees rocked straight. Squeeze the core to return to the upright. And sitting cross-legged once more, just a twist for your a side stretch. So elbow down and reach it over, crown of the head and fingertips towards the side wall. That arm back in line with your ear. Nice deep breaths into the armpits and try to keep leaning through onto that right buttock, not lifting your, so not leaning the whole body. Squeeze your core to come up. So what I'm meaning is don't come over like that. Keep the pressure on that opposite buttock. Let the head drop over, relax your shoulder, bring that arm back in line with your ear. Crown of the head and fingertips reach into the side wall. Squeeze your core to return to the upright. And some back strengthening. So the legs are out, the feet are mat distance apart, and you're going to have your hands directly out in line with your shoulders. So lifting straight up to the ceiling and release it down. If you do find that too much, you can bend your elbows and do the diamond press, so that you're lifting just half the arm. So breathing out, breathing in to lift, breathing out to lower. Deep breath in to lift and out to lower. Continue to look down towards the floor with your hands facing, palms facing down. Lift your arms a little higher than your torso and a gentle pinch between your shoulder blades. No pulling upwards with the neck. Neck in line with the rest of the spine. Head comes along for the ride. Breathe in to lift, out to lower. One more. Release it down. Okay. Now your arms are going to be in like a wide position, coming forwards at a 45-degree angle, and the thumbs are facing up. So same thing, if you are finding it a bit much to do this one, you can do more of your diamond press, or you can do one arm, one leg at this time. So thumbs up and lifting up towards the ceiling. Keep your elbows as straight as possible and don't pull from your neck. You're working from your lower back as you lift. And keep your shoulders away from the ears. Lift your arms straight up towards the ceiling. Breathe in to lift, out to lower. One more. Release it down. We'll work a little bit on the legs, forehead resting on the hands. Squeeze the buttocks to lift both thighs off the floor. So make sure that you're squeezing your core, draw the abdominals in, no hunching with your shoulders. Keep your lift low and make sure that you're squeezing your buttocks to lift your thighs. We're going to do swimming. So one arm, one leg on opposite sides. You can have one arm, one leg resting on the floor or arms and legs lifted. Slow swimming. Breathe out to lift, breathe in to lower. Take as long to raise as you do to lower, so it's a smooth, flowing movement. So it's not a quick lift and a low, quick lift and low. Slow lift, slow low. Have a short rest. Make sure that you are squeezing your core. Draw the abdominals in, away from the floor. Another set of your slow swimming. Breathing out to lift, in to lower. Looking down towards the floor. One arm, one leg on opposite sides. Try to get that equal lift of the arm and the leg. Pulling those tummy muscles in, away from the floor. Release it down gently. Let's check. All right. And some fast swimming. Fast swimming with just your legs to make it easier, or fast swimming arms and legs. Percussion breathing. Breathe in 5 bursts. Breathing out in 5 bursts. Keep your torso locked still. Have a short rest. And another set when you are ready. So only arms and legs move, no wobbling about with the torso. Try and straighten your knees, straighten your elbows as much as possible. Keep your torso locked still. Have a short rest. One more set of your fast swimming. Release it gently. Back extensions, get the flexibility into your lower back. You've got a sore back, you'll gently nudge yourself up higher. So hands next to your shoulders, elbows tucked in. Onto your forearms, onto your hands, no hunching with your shoulders. If your back is sore and not going to lift up quite so high, you may need to have your hands a little further forwards so that it's a smaller arch into your back. So just work within your limits. Make sure that your legs are wide, feet in close, too much pressure on the lower back, legs wider, less pressure. Deep breath in to push up, breathing out to release. Shoulders away from the ears, head comes along for the ride. Breathe in to press up, breathing out to release. If you do want more of a challenge, hold those ankles, pressing up, pulling on your feet. Head comes along for the ride, crown of the head to the ceiling, and your heels to the ceiling. Pull on your feet, try and get those thighs lifting off the floor. Press the heels up, pulling on the feet. It's as if you're trying to straighten the legs, push the feet into your hands. Lifting thighs and chest equally up off the floor. One more. And into rest position. So you should feel those back muscles have worked. You should be feeling tight. Slowly into rest position, letting them stretch out. Nice deep breaths. Flatten your spine. And easing out of that. We'll lie on our backs for a few of the shoulder bridge, and we can do that more challenging one on the hands. So shoulder bridge, you've got a sore back. This is a great one for you to be doing, snacking on a daily basis. It's a good one if you have got a sore back when you first get out of bed in the morning, to at least do a few pelvic tilts before you get up and out of bed. Make sure your ankle is in underneath the knee, the feet are about a fist width apart, palms are facing up. Pelvic tilt, hold your pelvic tilt. Make sure that your lower back is completely flattened onto the floor. You are pulling your tummy in, not pushing it out, and you're engaging through the pelvic floor as well. The buttocks should be relaxed. Release back to neutral. Now, when you're in neutral, you're not pushing forwards into a large arch, so know where your neutral is. We often get a sore lower back because we're not aware of where our neutral is, and where we perceive our neutral to be is actually the pelvis is to be forwards. So pelvic tilt, hold it there a moment. Make sure that you're pulling in and engaging through the pelvic floor. Lower back is completely flattened. Now, as you lift up, squeeze the buttocks. Get as much movement through the vertebra as you can. Maintain your pelvic tilt, so you're not going into a sway like that. Tuck with the pelvis. Try and get a straight line from your shoulder to your knee. Squeeze the buttocks, squeeze in from the inner thighs. Tuck with the pelvis. Roll your spine down one vertebra at a time. Once your lower back is down, then release through your pelvic tilt. Pelvic tilt, that's tummy and pelvic floor that does that movement. Once you lift up, then you squeeze the buttocks, peeling your spine. Maintain the tuck with the pelvis, squeezing in from your inner thigh, squeezing the buttocks tight and beelining. And keep that tuck with the pelvis. Roll your spine down, your lower back should be down, and then the very last thing that you do is release your pelvic tilt. So make sure that you maintain that tuck right up until the end. And otherwise, more of a challenge. You'll be lifting up, try and have your hands facing forwards, and squeeze the buttocks, press your hips up to the ceiling. Whichever one you are doing, when you try and get that straight line from your shoulder to your knee, when you are in that straight line, you'll be squeezing the buttocks and squeezing in from the inner thighs and beelining. So choose your variation and do it in your own time. Make sure that you are concentrating on using the correct muscles. If you are on your hands, make sure that you are keeping soft elbows and shoulders are away from your ears. Whichever one you are doing, squeeze the buttocks, squeeze in from your inner thighs, but your knees stay over your ankles. Breathing out to lift and breathing in to lower. One more. Release it. Give your wrists a little shake and hug your knees in, getting those knees are up into the chest. Give the knees a circle. Reverse your circle. And sitting up. Standing up. We'll use the band. So we already used the hand weights when we were doing our 2-minute squat. So let's use band. If you do have a sore shoulder at any time, you can go back to shoulder blade pinches. So just keep a little bit of tension in that hand, take the arms back and squeeze your shoulder blade. If you're not doing this, open through the chest. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other. So if any of them are hurting your shoulder and not suitable, just drop back to that one at any time. And another thing that I want you to be aware of throughout, make sure that your hip, knee and ankle are on a straight line, that you are not starting to go into this position. Yes, you know who you are. I'm thinking of you. Make sure that your hip, knee and ankle are on a straight line, tummy in, tailbone down. Keep that pelvis in the right position while you're doing these arm exercises. Keep your shoulder blades pinched, stretch your band, keep tension in the band as you bring it back in. Keep looking directly forwards, chin gently tucked in. Keep your shoulder blades squeezed to keep that band away from your neck. And wanting hands to be level, not one side, not leaning to one side. And now little smooth pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold it there. I'm sure you've got one more set in you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Up and overhead. Stop at shoulder level. Play around with how much resistance, either bringing it in closer or taking your arms wider. You're going to squeeze your shoulder blades to stretch your band. Keep your wrists locked nice and straight. Breathe out to stretch. Don't let the band touch the torso. Breathe in to release. Make sure you have tummy in and tailbone down. As you stretch your band, engage through tummy and pelvic floor. Now stretch it and smooth pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold it there. Concentrating your upper back between your shoulder blades. 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold it. Relax. Relax your shoulders. We're going to mobilize the shoulders by taking the band up and overhead. Once again, if you do have a sore shoulder and it's not suitable for you, feel free to drop back to your shoulder blade pinches. So stretch the band equally with both arms. Take the band up, stretch the band and slide it back behind you. Stretch the band equally with both arms. Make sure you're not doing funny things like that. Keep symmetry throughout. Stretch your band and slide it back behind your back. Stretching the band equally with both arms. So 1 to loosen through your shoulder joints. Keep your head still, looking directly forwards. One more. And release. Rotate your cuff. Tuck your elbows in and rotate out equally with your forearms. So be careful that you're not doing this sort of thing. Look down at your forearms and make sure that they are both working equally. Keep your shoulder blades gently pinched, tummy in and tailbone down. No swaying into your lower back. And we're going to pulse it. Stretch, smooth pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold it there. And 10 more. Nice smooth pulses controlled in both directions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold it. Stretch your band an extra centimetre. And do you have 1 more centimetre in you? Holding and relaxing. Well done. We're going to do a side stretch. So heels are together, hips are facing forwards. Have that arm up and reach crown of the head and fingertips to the side wall. Squeeze core and inner thighs to lift. Arm in line with your ear, breathing out to lower and a deep breath in to lift. Crown of the head and fingertips to the side wall. Keep your hips facing forwards. Make sure as you come up, use the abdominals to lift yourself back up again. One more to each side. Feel that stretch through your side and make sure that you do use the abdominals to come back up. Standing spine roll, hope you've loosened up a little. Breathe in, grow taller. Breathing out, roll yourself down. Hold it here for a few deep breaths. Let your head dangle, let your arms dangle. Press the tailbone towards the ceiling. Beeline, use the abdominals and uncurl to the upright. Stretching through the neck. Interlace the fingers. It's more the weight of the arms than pulling down. Let your elbows sag down and take chin to chest. Breathe through the stretch. Feel that stretch all through the back of the leg. And gently release. Look right towards the ceiling. Drop the head right back. And back to the neutral. Just going to show you sideways. We're going to do some chin tucks. You're taking the chin directly back. Don't drop the head down. It's directly back. Chin in, release to neutral. Make sure shoulder blades are in pocket. And chin in, release to neutral. So no pushing forwards, just tucking in and release to neutral. Tuck in, release to neutral. One more. Now you're going to tuck in and just do a little quarter turn. Keep the tuck in and just a tiny little turn to the side. Keeping the chin tucked in. One more to each side and back to the neutral. So if you did hear some grinding and clicking noises, don't worry. That is to help loosen up and to encourage that synovial fluid, so the natural joint lubrication. So you can snap on those ones to loosen. And of course, this is a great one as well. Your ear to shoulder, looking directly forwards, just a gentle pull on the head. So don't over pull, gently pull and breathe through it. Clasp your hands, lifting those arms up. Get that flexibility of lifting the arms and relax your shoulders. Walk tall and enjoy your week. Well done.